Hello students, I am Deepthi Santosh from St. Thomas College, Bhilai. Today I am going to deal with B.Ed 4th semester, paper 10, Gender, School and Society. And under that paper, I am going to deal with the topic Radical Feminism. See, before we start with radical feminism, let us learn what is feminism. In short, I'll say or define feminism. Very shortly, I prefer to define. Feminism actually is a belief that women should have the same right and opportunities as men. So what is feminism? Feminism is a belief that women should have same rights and opportunities. Rights and opportunities like men. So it is a social movement and ideology that fights for the political and social rights for women. So this is feminism is a social movement. It's a social movement or ideology. Okay, it's a social movement and ideology that fights for the political and social rights for women. So here you know what is feminism in short. Now let us talk about what is radical feminism. See, radical feminism is known as revolutionary feminism. So what is radical feminism here? Radical feminism here means it's a revolutionary feminism. Revolutionary feminism means they totally want to change or reform that feminist idea. Okay, so it is known as a revolutionary feminism, and radical feminism tend to be more militant in their approach than other feminists. They tend to be more militant in approach. Militant in approach. They were not like the previous feminism I talked about, that is liberal feminism or socialist feminism. They were not militant in approach, but this radical feminists were militant in approach as they were revolutionary feminists. So far we have tried to understand feminism as a movement or as an ideology, and under this ideology only today we will try to cover this topic radical feminism. So far we have been talking about the movement and idea, but we are more focusing on the ideology. In the last video also I talked about liberal feminism and social feminism, where I focused on the ideologies. Here too I am going to talk about radical feminism, and I will be focusing on the ideology of radical feminism. So a radical feminism aims to dismantle the patriarchy. So what was the aim? They wanted to dismantle the patriarchy. Dismantle means they just want to throw away. What they want to dismantle? They dismantle patriarchy. Okay, just simply they wanted to throw away this patriarchy rather than making adjustment to the system through legal changes. They don't wanted any kind of legal changes in their feminism, radical feminism. They just simply want to dismantle this patriarchy, because radical feminism or feminism opposes patriarchy, not men. They never opposed men. They actually oppose that system called patriarchy. They simply want to throw off this or dismantle this patriarchy. They felt patriarchy is the root cause of all kinds of oppression that woman is facing. So in 1960s and 70s, okay, so in 1960s and 70s, during those era, not too back in 60s, and so it is a new concept. It's not too old concept. Okay, so in 1960s and 70s, Feminists believe that main aim is to achieve equal rights for women through reforming existing system. So during those times they felt they didn't want to do much on this issue. They just wanted equal rights for women through simply reforming existing system. But radical feminists did not believe in reforming the system, but wanted to radically restructure the system by uprooting patriarchal power structure. They simply wanted to uproot the patriarchal power structures. They don't wanted to reform any kinds of legal systems. Okay, so till 1960s there was no distinct feminism. So what we have studied, 1960s feminists arose, but till 1960s there was no distinct feminist ideology. That means till then feminism borrowed concepts from liberalism and socialism. Where did this feminism borrowed concept? They borrowed concepts from liberalism and socialism to explain women's problems. But later in 1960s, some women feminists came forward and were of the view that neither liberalism nor socialism can understand women's problems. So later what they found, that this liberalism and socialism, neither this liberalism or socialism can understand women's problem, because these ideologies of liberalism and socialism are made by men. So these ideologies of liberalism and socialism, ideologies of liberalism and socialism were made by men. That was the main problem. That was made by men. So when men design these ideologies, they make sure that women must remain in the subordinated position in the society. They will make sure, naturally that is made by men, these liberal and social ideologies. So they will make sure that this woman must remain in the subordinated position in the society. Man-made ideologies cannot solve the problems of women, as the man wanted to secure or maintain their male-dominated position in the society. Okay, so naturally they don't want to leave their dominated position. So according to radical feminism, there was a need for a systematic theory that may explain the oppression of women. Okay, and the theories should be originated from women only. That is, the oppressed woman can explain the theory well or develop this theory or this ideology. Okay, so radical feminists feel that these theories should come from women only, not from men. And that too from the oppressed woman. So they wanted this oppressed woman should develop some new ideology. So this ideology or theory will never be biased, unlike liberal and social feminism, which were totally developed by men. And this will never be biased, as these were developed by women. Therefore, according to radical feminists, the root cause for oppression of women is, as I told, patriarchy. So patriarchy is the root cause for oppression of women. And what is patriarchy actually in simple words? Male dominance or supremacy in all types of life, in all spheres of types of life, not I'll say in all spheres of life. So patriarchy is male dominance or supremacy in all spheres of life, like economic, social and political spheres of life. Just imagine a male dominating in all the spheres, there is no space for women then. So how patriarchy maintains this male dominance? We should come to know how this patriarchy maintains this male dominance. Once we learn how patriarchy maintains male dominance, then it may be possible to end this male dominance. So let us learn how this male dominance in the society is maintained by this patriarchy. And these were maintained by two ways. What were those two ways? How this male dominance was maintained by patriarchy, and this male dominance was maintained by two ways, that is by linking sex to gender. That is by linking sex to gender. Okay, this is. They felt sex and gender are synonymous to each other. They don't have much difference. So this is how they maintain this. I will explain in detail. The second is by confining women to private life. Second is by confining women to private life. So what we see here, so on these two logics, patriarchy operates. Okay, on these two logics, patriarchy operates. Okay, that is by linking sex to gender and confining women to private life. For example, I'll say in patriarchy's society, sex and gender are one and the same. Is it one and the same? Not at all. See, I'll explain how sex is different and gender should be different. For example, sex, it is a biological identity. Biological identity, that means physical features, physical attributes you say. And what about gender? Gender is a social or cultural identity. That is, the society keeps some expectations from you. So, sex is a biological identity. Biological identity. And this gender is a social identity, or society keeps some expectations from you. So, example I'll say, for example, when you say Rashmi is cute but Rahul is strong. I'll show the example. See, when you say Rashmi is cute and Rahul is strong, in this Rashmi is cute and Rahul is strong. I'm writing here only. Okay. So here what you find, Rashmi is cute and Rahul is strong. So Rashmi is a female. Here Rashmi, what do you find? She is a female. Okay. And Rahul, what about Rahul? Is a male. So what is this? This is their biological identity. Okay. So what about their cuteness and strength? So cuteness means it's a social role. That is their social identity. Cute means, that is, they are talking about gender here. That means social role. Okay. The strong also, it is a gender. That means they are talking about social role. So female, Rashmi and Rahul are male and female. That is, we are talking about their sex. That is their biological identity. And when we talk about their cuteness and the strength of Rahul, that is their gender. That is the social identity. So this way, what you find, that they have given different roles. So Rashmi and Rahul denoting sex, male and female, and cute and strong denoting expectation, that is role or behavior expected by the society. So when we join this sex to gender, that is patriarchy. When we join this sex to gender, then that is called as patriarchy. Okay. Because sex is your biological identity, gender is your role identification. Okay. So that is the problem of patriarchy. So that is when they are linking the sex and gender together, they are linking, that is why that there is a big problem in patriarchy. There are two types of traits. I'll explain in detail. That is, there are two types of traits in society. That is feminine traits and masculine trait. Okay, you'll find two types of trait. That is feminine trait. What are the feminine traits? Tell me, what are the feminine traits? Okay, the feminine traits you'll find that caring and all. Okay, feminine. There are two types of trait. That is feminine, and the another trait is masculine trait. Okay, what are the feminine traits? Feminine traits are, you will say, beautiful, emotional, loving, caring. Okay, these are the, so what is this? Emotional, then soft, then loving, then caring. These are the traits, feminine. And what are the masculine traits? Masculine traits you will find strong, aggressive, okay, strong, aggressive. These are the, generally you will find the masculine traits, okay. So these are the set of social roles or expectations made by society. So when we join the feminine traits to female, then the category we call is woman. When we join this feminine traits to female, okay, then that category is called as woman. Understood? All, if that feminine traits are there in a female, then she is called a woman. Okay, likewise, if it is male, then that male must possess a masculine traits. Then the category formed is called man. Then the category called is man. But that man must have that masculine traits, as I told you. So this new category formed due to the feminist or masculine traits, that is man and woman, is called gender. Okay, therefore society expects or regards some standards from male and female. That is, if you are a girl, you have to be cute. If you are a boy, you have to be strong. See, in a society, no one wants, especially in Indian culture, we have seen, if you find a boy, you will not expect that he should behave like a girl. He should behave very softly. He's not too nurturing sort of. You know, the same way, if you find a girl, people don't encourage or people don't appreciate masculine tendencies in a female, masculine traits in a female. So society expects or regards some standards from male and female. That is, if you are a girl, you have to behave like a girl. You must have a feminine qualities, like you have to be cute like that. And if you are a boy, you must have masculine traits, or you have to behave like a boy, or you need to become a strong boy. So therefore, when biological identity is joined or merged with social identity, then only we regard as a man or a woman. So when the biological identity is merged with a social identity, then only we call it a man or a woman. Okay, so sex and gender is totally different according to radical feminists. They should be delinked. So when our social roles is related with our sex, then it is called a biological determinism. So here let us talk about biological determinism. You have learned about that. So when our social roles is related with our sex, then it is, that is when our social roles are related with our sex. Okay, when your social roles are related with your sex, then it is called as what? Biological determinism. Biological determinism. Okay. So therefore, when your sex determines your social roles in society, then it is called a biological determinism. That is, your biology, that is your physical status, is determining your social roles in the society, and the patriarchy is based on this biological determinism. So this patriarchy is based on this biological determinism, or it is based, or it is dependent on biological determinism. That is, biology is your destiny. That means biology, your biology decides your roles. If you are born as a female, that is your destiny, and that decides your roles. Okay, so and this idea of biological determinism is challenged by who? Radical feminists. This idea of biological determinism is challenged by radical feminism. Okay, this radical feminists challenge this type of biological determinism. That is, society impose certain feminist traits on women. then they become a woman. So they didn't like. For example, there were famous feminists called Simone de Beauvoir. In her book, she introduced in her book that she has written a book called The Second Sex in 1949. The book's name was Second Sex in 1949. In that book she has written, one is not born but rather becomes a woman. What she says, one is not born but rather becomes a woman. That is, society imposes female traits, then she becomes a woman. If the society doesn't, see, that is why this radical feminists want to differentiate the sex and gender. That is why they say one is not born as a woman, but she is rather made a woman. She becomes a woman. Why? Because the society imposes female traits, then she becomes a woman. So gender roles are artificially created. So according to this radical feminist, these gender roles are artificially created. It happens through gender socialization. So these gender roles are artificially created. Okay, these gender roles are artificially created. Okay. So according to the radical, these are artificially created. It happens through gender socialization. How? It happens through gender socialization. And what is this gender socialization? What is this gender socialization? That is, it begins from family first. The socialization begins from families first. For example, in a family, if you find a boy and a girl, a brother and sister, suppose, what the parents do for them, if they have to give toys for them, they'll purchase a toy which is totally different for boy and totally different for a girl. For example, toys for boys are generally, you'll find trucks, you'll find guns. These are the toys the parents purchase for boys. And for the girls, you'll find the parents will purchase dolls or soft toys. These are they will differentiate these types of toys between these boys and girls. And according to radical feminists, gender roles or identity which are artificially created can be changed. So this artificially created social roles should or can be changed, and radical feminists want their patriarchal society not to treat it as natural. So see, the patriarchal society, they treat these gender roles as natural. So boys should be given this particular toys only, the girls should be given this particular toys only. This comes from the patriarchal society. They treat it as a natural. They don't treat it as an artificial. So they are taught like that. The girls and boys are taught like that. So this happens through gender socializers. It starts from the family only. But this radical feminists are totally against it. They feel that these are all artificially created. This can be changed and it should be changed as it is artificially created. So because of this patriarchy system only, this is being encouraged. So gender roles are artificially created, and anything which is artificially created can be changed. See, biological identity cannot be changed, but then gender identity can be changed. Your biological identity means your sex cannot be changed, but your gender identity can be changed. It should be changed because this distribution of gender roles works against women. It should be changed. This artificially created gender roles should be changed. Why? Because there is so much of injustice happening to women. Because it should be changed because their distribution of gender roles, that means works against women and gives advantageous position to men or this male. How? Let us talk about how they are giving disadvantageous position to women and advantageous position to man. These gender roles are giving advantageous position to man and disadvantageous position to woman. How? In the society, there is division of labor based on gender. In a society, what do you find? There is division of labor. based on gender. There is division of labor, and that too based on gender. See, you'll see for men it is different, for women it is different. The labor is totally different. See, the men is given generally the public sphere. Okay, the men is given what? Public sphere, and the woman is given the private sphere. Okay, that is understood. So all the activities which are happening in public sphere, like politics, business, then military, then policing, are given to men. Okay, these are given to, like, what are the things? Politics, then business, then military, then policing. All these things are given to men. Okay, this is the issue here. Okay, so these are all masculine traits needed for that. For this you need some masculine traits. So that is very competitive, strong, masculinity, aggressive nature. All these things are demanded in this spheres. But in the private sphere, for this woman, what type of labor are given? They are given the private sphere labor. All the activities like caring, nurturing, taking care of family, they all are given to this woman, because basically women have feminine traits like caring, nurturing, loving, household work. These women are given the household work, rearing children, taking care of family. So for these they need a feminine traits. These feminine traits means caring, taking care of the children. All these things are the feminine traits. So we see division of labor in society on the basis of gender. And how this division of labor is working against women? See, the work in public sphere like business, military and policing and all these things are paid jobs. These are paid jobs. What about the other sphere? And at the same time, not only paid jobs, they are not only paid, but they have power and dominance and status. They have power, they have position, and they have dominance also. But what about the woman? But work in the private sphere like household work, taking care of children and taking care of child rearing or taking care of family, all are unpaid. These are all unpaid. Okay, and they lack power and dominance, which do not give any power or position. They lack power and they lack power and dominance. Okay, this is happening there. So these women are dominated by men in the society. Naturally, they are unpaid, they don't have power. So who will dominate them? These men only will dominate this woman. So this idea of keeping women in private sphere than public sphere is because of gender bias or division of labor. This is because of gender bias or division of labor. But how to solve this woman's suffering? You know, this radical feminists have already talked about this patriarchy, and this patriarchy is giving lot of suffering to the woman, and they wanted how to solve this suffering. For this, radical feminists came forward, and they too were divided into two, that is moderate approach and extremist. They had moderate approach and extremist approach. So they wanted to solve the sufferings of the woman, and so for this, radical feminists, when they came forward, they again were divided into two branches. One was moderate approach and the second was extremist approach. Okay, so this radical feminist, I'll write it here, radical feminist, they were divided into two. The first is moderate approach and the second is extremist approach. Extremist approach. We will talk about moderate approach first. We will talk about moderate approach first. What does this moderate approach of radical feminists mean? Means they had 2-3 conditions. That is, the first way is de-link sex and gender. For them, they wanted to de-link sex and gender. According to them, sex and gender are not one and the same. Sex is biological identity and gender is a social identity, and sex is natural phenomena and gender is artificial phenomena, and I have explained this just before about it. Now secondly is they destroy all forms of male bias. They wanted to destroy all forms of male bias. See, male bias arises only due to patriarchy. That is why they wanted to uproot this patriarchy also. Again, they want to establish a genderless society. They wanted to establish a genderless society. Genderless society. You know, this is very important to establish a gender. So for this, what they said, they proposed all women of the world, you know, for all these things, that means to de-link sex and gender, to destroy male biasness and establish genderless society. This moderate approach, radical feminists wanted that all women of the world must unite. They must come together on the basis of their shared gendered oppression. On the basis of this shared gendered oppression, all these women of the world must come united. That is, the gender oppression means their patriarchy system. Okay, on that basis, you know, women must unite in universal group and talk about sisterhood. The main slogan of moderate approach was, they talked about sisterhood. That is, once they unite, they will be able to participate in politics. Once they unite, they will be able to participate in politics to bring change in their outlook of the society and in their position in the society. So what they wanted? They want to unite. All the women must unite on the basis of their gendered oppression. At the same time, this way they will be able to participate in politics. At the same by participation in politics, what will happen? The outlook of the society, they can be able to change the outlook of the society and their position on the society. See, participation in politics itself means getting some power to change many things. Okay, so this is the thoughts of moderate approach of radical feminism. But what about the extremist approach of radical feminists? They are also called as difference feminism or cultural feminism. These extremist approach of radical feminism were also called as difference feminism or cultural feminism. So here what they said, that women had qualities or values which were totally different from men. Okay, they were totally different from moderate approach. This extremist approach, what they thought, that women had qualities or values which were totally different from men. They are fundamentally different from men, and there is women who have it is nothing wrong to be different from men. So what they say? There is nothing wrong to be different from men, as the qualities are much superior to men. So what they said, the women's qualities and the values were much superior to men. So there was nothing wrong to be different from men. They don't want to be equal with men. So women want to uphold, these radical feminists of extremist approach wanted to uphold these values of women, these qualities of women. They want to celebrate these qualities. What are these qualities? Their qualities of nurturing quality, their caring qualities, and unlike the the negative qualities of men are selfishness and self-centeredness and aggressive nature of men. These qualities you don't find in women. Women are basically I am saying, are very nurturing, very loving and very caring, and these qualities are so great that they must uphold these qualities, and they should be different in this way. Why they are want to be unequal? So these type of radical feminists, that especially the extremist approach, celebrate womanhood and accept that they are fundamentally different. They say they want to celebrate womanhood. When we compare qualities of men with women, then female qualities or the woman qualities are superior than male qualities. That is the loving, caring, nurturing and cooperative qualities of women. And the other side, what will use a superiority feeling and selfish attitude, self-centered and emotional and emotionless, not emotional, I am saying emotionless attitude. Generally speaking, I am talking, not for all. Emotionless attitude, aggressive nature of men, these basically women don't have. So why women should abandon such qualities or values? So why should women, they believe that why should women abandon such qualities or values? So they don't demand for a genderless society, but they talk about gynocentrism. They don't talk about genderless society. Okay, this extremist approach, radical feminists, they don't talk about genderless society, but they talk about gynocentrism. What is this gynocentrism? Okay, radical feminists basically don't talk about genderless society, but they talk about gynocentrism. What is this? Giving importance to female values and qualities than males. So gynocentrism is giving importance to female values or qualities than male, and according to them, male character or male values are ruling values or quality values in society. Though we regarded quality or the ruling values are women's values, but in society what is happening due to this existence of patriarchy, this male characters or male values are ruling values in the society. So they are visible culture. But the woman say this culture is invisible. Woman's culture is invisible because they are subordinated culture. These cultural feminism want. They are also, I told you, these extremists are called as cultural feminism. At the same time, difference feminism, they are also called as cultural feminism. These want that the female values should be given importance than the male values. So this is extreme approach of radical feminist. They just simply want to replace patriarchy to matriarchy. So this way I finish off with this topic. I covered this topic, radical feminism, and I hope you understood the whole topic. So thank you so much, students.